Hey y'all, welcome back to Purposely Cross. Not sure what episode it is, but we are about to get into the conversation. So today I have the most special guest. I am excited. This is the first guest on Purposely Crossed, but you're not so much a guest. So yeah, I have Bay, my husband, the man, no, I'm just kidding. My husband, the one behind the camera, the one who is making all of this happen through God, of course, using the gifts God gave him. Uh, yeah, talk a little bit to us, babe.
You about to make me blush.
Like
uh,
when we first met, I made you blush.
yeah.
But
What you want? I don't really know what to say. Like she say, I'm the husband, the man behind the camera. You know, uh,
you nervous?
yeah, I am nervous. I'm used to being behind the camera, always behind the camera for the most part. Anything I do. But yeah, man behind the camera, man behind the production, I guess you can say, of
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Um,
The graphics, so those
yeah.
edits, everybody keep on messaging me about this babe. This is who gets it done.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man, he's very talented. We just gonna talk a little bit today. I'm not sure how I wanted to start this out, but we got y'all ear right now. So
Can I start
and
off
and
by
most of
saying
y'all
something?
eyes. So yeah.
Can I start off by saying something? Like you
Go
said, I
ahead.
don't know what episode this is, but I want to say to you, whatever episode this is, whatever episode this is that we put it out thus far, I'm proud of you. I truly want you to know
Oh man.
that I'm proud of you. I was talking to my dad earlier, and he was asking me, like, what made Jamila start this podcast? And I said, God. I'm
Yeah.
like, he was like, what you
Oh,
mean?
we
I'm
gonna
like,
talk further how that
yeah, I'm like,
conversation went.
yeah. I'm like, God literally gave it to her. I said, I was a podcast head, and she wasn't, but God told her to put down makeup, and she didn't know exactly what that would come with. But the podcast was another way to touch people, another way to reach people. And I was showing him your clips and stuff. 'Cause he said he watched it, but he probably did. But I was showing him like the clips and the highlights and all that stuff, and he was like, "Oh man, y'all been doing good." So hopefully, if he's watching, he tune in.
Yeah, shout
But
out
yeah,
to that funny acting old man.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a us thing. But yeah, man, this is a great honor, honestly, and I'm gonna get back. Let me get back serious about it. This is a great honor, not just because it's Babe, but this is my spiritual head, of my household,
Yeah,
and to get that compliment from you, and I
good.
know sometimes wives be wifing.
Hmm.
Um, it's hard to take a compliment, but it means the world to me. So yeah, let's just kind of break the ice for the people. Like,
All right,
let me see. What
what we
what's
what we
what's
talking about? Come on, I'm ready.
Well, I got you on Purposely Crossed. This
Yeah,
is
I'm
our
here.
thing, but I got you on
Yeah,
her.
I'm
So
here.
let's see. What is your favorite, or who is your favorite artist? Just all time. It don't have to be like gospel,
Artist
nothing
all
like that.
time. You
Yeah.
know who that is.
I know, but the people don't know. The people don't know.
On top of that, I was just telling my daddy to me, I'm a Josiah, and if you want to go, we're going to see the movie. But anywho, Michael Jackson, you know,
Michael Jackson.
and one thing I kind of noticed growing up, it wasn't necessarily just Michael Jackson. Of course, Michael Jackson was in the Jackson Five, big New Edition fan, but for me, and this is how my mind works. listening to the music and not knowing the people behind their music. Like Michael Jackson, but Quincy Jones made the Michael Jackson sound. You know,
Right.
New
Yeah.
Edition is New Edition, but can't remember their name off the top of my head. Um, the ones that made music for Janet Jackson and stuff like that, they
Mm.
made the sound. So it's not the person, it was the sound. You
Yeah,
know,
the
it
sound.
wasn't.
Okay.
So I guess that's kind of like
I can
this. You know,
understand that. I can
it's
understand
bigger
that for
than
sure.
them.
Especially being on this side of it and how we met, and
Yeah,
I can definitely see it being the sound for you, having to sit in rooms where you repeatedly have to play the same thing and
yeah.
mixing
You got
and
to get it
all of
right.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
hmm
see that for
You
you.
gotta get that echo right,
Well, since
that
I
tempo.
mentioned it, we might as well start off with it, like
Yeah.
how we first met. We know some people know, but this is beyond that. So, yeah, let's get into that. How we first met,
You want to start it off, or you want me?
I don't
So I
know.
can tell my side. You can tell your side. I'm gonna tell my
I'm gonna let
side,
you. I
and
got
then
you as a guest. Go
I'll let
ahead,
you
yeah,
jump
and
in.
I
So,
interject because
it was my sophomore year of college. Her at Stowe State University. I love my H. I love my S. I love my S. I love my U. Um, It's SU.
HSSU.
Yeah, you know
Okay,
it. Okay. So, sophomore year of college, um, I was in the concert chorale, um, which is like the choir, and I think it was either before rehearsal or after rehearsal. Now, remind you, I ain't no singer, but I was in there because we got a grant. You know,
yeah.
that's why I was doing it for real, for real. But I also was in the choir and in church and stuff like that as a kid, so it felt natural. But I was also getting a check behind it. You know, as a young adult. Um, like I said, I can't remember if it was before or after rehearsal, but in comes this brown mocha skin young lady. I knew she was new to the school.
Mocha
Mocha
skin is
skin. I knew
crazy.
she was new to the school. Because I had been at a freshman year, so I knew she had to be a freshman in college. And I can't remember if you had brown hair or blonde hair, but it was a look
Probably
like
a
a
rendition
what they
of both.
call it, a curly fro kind of deal.
Something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
early 2010 type stuff. But yeah, came in. I was playing the piano. I was playing, I think, Sammy. I ain't gonna sing it, but and singing along to it a little bit. And you came in, and
Let me tell
I'll
y'all,
let
I
you.
was
Yeah,
a
go.
jokester. I played a lot. I still do sometimes, but over these last couple years, I got more serious. But
Mhm.
I played a lot. Go ahead, keep saying
You
what you're
said
saying.
what? You talking about over these years you got more serious?
I did. You don't
Yeah.
think so?
Nah, no, ma'am. Um.
Oh,
So yeah, you
I didn't
came
think
in,
so.
you joked with me a little bit, and I think that was it for that day for the most part. I don't even think you was in the choir
I
yet.
was not in the
You were
class,
just
y'all.
coming in.
So
Hmm
I was in the class that I was in the piano class,
Yeah.
and it was a classroom or two down.
It was on the end of the
And
hall.
yeah. So I think it was like two
Oh,
classrooms down, but it was at the end of the hall. I
mm.
just left out, and like I said, I was silly, I was goofy, and you could tell now thinking back to it. I could tell I was a freshman in college. Like I have no idea why I left class. I was supposed to be in
I'm
there.
gonna tell
I
you
was
what
paying
led
for
you
that.
that way.
Wait a
I'm gonna
minute,
tell you. I
cut
was
it
playing
out.
that piano. Yeah, I know the song, but you heard that, you like, what is that?
That
I
ain't
know exactly what
it.
it was. You was
I
like, what is
actually went
that?
there because I knew
Because the
Michelle
bathroom wasn't
was
even
in the
that way.
classroom.
So I know you heard something. The steps was in the middle, so you passed the steps because you weren't going downstairs. The bathrooms was on the end you was on. You heard that voice, that angelic voice, that how I explained it. That
Yeah,
Luther
this is the
Vandross,
delusion that we
that
go
Luther
through all the
Vandross,
time.
Gerald
No,
Levert, Teddy Pendergrass, baritone voice, and you came
babe.
down there. That's what led you that way.
See, this
Or
is
we
where
can
we.
keep it simple. We can say it was God, but God gave me that voice that I choose not to use. Go
But
ahead.
I never said it was your voice, and I never said it was the
Ah,
keyboard. You did.
my
That's what
bad.
you said.
Well, that's how I
So,
see it.
and I mean, listen, I wasn't as spiritually in tune then as I am now. It
Mm-hmm.
could have been all of that, you know, but I never said it. And
Yeah.
the fact that you telling me that that's what I was thinking, you know, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I left out of the classroom, went in there, saw him on the keyboard. This is when I said I made him blush. I was like, "Oh, you know how to play the keyboard?" And he like, yeah, he was smiling, blushing and stuff. I'm like, play something for me. And he played and all of that. And I said this little joke and left out of the room. I ain't gonna say what it
Scared.
was.
I'm scared.
I pulled him as well.
Okay.
I was reeling him in. So, anyways, this was, I don't remember when it was, but the next time I saw him after that, I was actually on the elevator with my roommate. And we got on the elevator. Well, he was already on the elevator actually, and we got on there, and I was telling my roommate like,
Mm-mm.
"Watch this, watch this."
Yeah, I was in the back
Yes.
of the elevator. I got on the elevator.
No, no, I'm telling you,
Yeah, I was in the
you
back of the
you was
elevator.
on there
Cause I'm gonna tell you, it
already.
was like a movie. I got on the elevator. Y'all might have
Now,
been
when
on the
you go
second
through
floor.
all of this, you finna realize that you
Look,
was already
y'all
on
might
there.
have been on it cause the I got on the top floor. So y'all had to be got on the second floor, and the elevator went up. When I got on, you was in the back. That's how you. Cause if I was on the elevator in the back, you said something to me. See what I'm saying?
I know I said something
And
to
this how
you.
cool it
I
was.
know
We gonna
because
talk
I
about it,
got
but
on the elevator and then told her, "Watch this."
yeah.
You was already
Nah, I'm
on.
gonna tell you
Oh
how
my
cool I
god.
was. Um, I said what I said after you said what you said, and the elevator doors open like
What
a
I
movie,
say?
and I
Since
walked
you
out.
remember so
You
much.
said, "What's up, babe?" or "What's up, boo?" Something like that.
See, you don't even
What you
remember.
say?
I could tell you to a
"What's
T.
up,
You
babe?"
were
You said something
already
to
on
that
the
effect, and
elevator.
then I responded. I looked back and responded, and then the elevator doors open, and you was
Nah, he
blushing.
wrong. We not about to argue on this
Go
camera.
ahead,
Let
go
me tell
ahead,
y'all
go
what
ahead.
happened. He was on the elevator
Mm-hmm.
already. I got on with my roommate at the time, and I'm like, you know, once I thought about it, like, this dude. I told her, watch this, nudged her, and then I said, "What's up, baby?" And he said, "What's up, boo?" And I got quiet after that because I didn't think he was gonna say nothing. And then he got off first. You don't remember?
Strike two. I got you. I shut you up twice. I'm like, go ahead.
So who was right? Who was on the elevator
All right,
first?
it sound good. I don't know.
I can tell you to a T what happened. So
Okay.
yeah, anyways, after that, you know, we was kind of flirting but not flirting kind of thing, all of that. And fast forward, boom, I told my friend one day like, "Hey, I want his number." After I seen him again, we was in the media lab and I left though. I texted her and told her that. And she gave him my number and all that. And I knew he was gonna like text me, duh. He was trying to play hard to get, but he texted me. And then like literally boom the same day we went on a date that
It
I
was the
tried to
same
play.
day?
It was the same day. It was the same day. We went on a date that I was kind of like, oh, I thought it was a friend group date, but kind of ultimately didn't. I was just shy at the time, kind of shy,
That
because
one we
I
went to
wasn't, but I was.
Applebee's.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
remember, because
Yeah, tell them what I did.
this person and that person was there.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the wrong Applebee's first. Did you say you went to the wrong one too?
I think so. Yeah, I did. I think so.
Yeah.
We
Oh.
both went to the wrong Applebee's then, but you got to the right one before I got to the right one. But go ahead. Went to Applebee's. I think I got a
I
blondie.
think you was no, I did get there first. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, a blondie is crazy. So we went to the Applebee's. It was pouring down, raining,
Mm-hmm.
like pouring down. So, anyways, I'm in there, and our two friends were in there as well. And then they was kind of like pushing me once he got there, like, girl, sit by him. And they left and went and sat at their own table. And I was just like so shy. And I don't really remember everything we talked about. I just remember being all shy and I don't know. I don't know how to explain the feeling.
Yeah, it was
I
like
don't know
we
how
was
to
getting to
explain the
know each
feeling. We was
other.
getting to know each other.
Yeah.
But he paid for my food. He just want me
Yeah.
to tell y'all that.
Yeah.
He paid for my food.
Because a lot of people, I ain't gonna say a lot of people, especially in
Yeah.
our generation,
Mm-hmm.
what's the saying? Chivalry is dead. You know, don't get me wrong. I don't hold every door. I don't open every door, you know. But I do it to the best of my ability,
Mm.
you know. And at that time, especially when you're young, you trying to impress a young lady, and not necessarily impress, but you trying to what they call a court. You trying to court a young lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I paid for your food. That's back then. You could eat good for
I'm trying to tell you.
$25 at
Yeah,
Applebee's.
2 for 20 be hitting.
Man, dessert and
Um,
everything. But yeah, pay for
yeah.
your food.
And again, I don't know. I just remember feeling like I could talk to you forever.
The biggest thing I think
And
we
that was the first
laughed. We
date.
laughed a lot.
Yeah, we
Yeah, I'm
did.
like, oh,
We
I think that's
did.
what got me. I'm like, she
Yeah.
goofy, you know.
Yeah. Goofy is,
She
you know,
goofy, you know,
you
goofy but not
kind of
dingy.
pushing it. All
You
right.
know, that's why I say with
Okay.
goofy but not dingy.
Yeah.
Got some hood in them, you know. So
They don't know that.
babe, come on now.
They don't know that though. But yeah, no, I remember feeling like, oh man, I could talk to you forever. Like I felt like I was on this cloud almost, and
Mm-hmm.
it felt like, um, like a best friend type of thing, but not so platonic.
Yeah, right.
But
No, I
not so
got you.
platonic. And yeah, after that, because we was there for a while. We was there for a while.
Yeah,
Probably not that long. We've had
probably at
longer
least
dates.
2 hours, 2 3 hours, maybe.
Yeah, we've had longer dates.
Yeah,
But
we've been in places that about to close down on us.
yeah, when
Yeah.
um we left, it was still pouring down raining. And what happened? You had your umbrella. I didn't have one.
Mm-hmm.
And he walked into my car and stuff with his umbrella and all that. Then he went to his car and all that. Yeah. So it was sweet. I don't remember many details after that. I know my birthday was not far from that date.
Yeah, them the key points I remember. Your birthday,
Yeah, my birthday, we went on
Valentine's Day
another
was after
date.
that. Yeah.
And I remember when it was a blizzard
We start
outside one
talking
day.
quick.
Well, it didn't happen. We went on a date to IHOP. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then it like a blizzard hit. When we went, it wasn't snow all over the place. But when
Yeah.
we left,
It was.
it
Yeah.
was. It was.
But it
like,
wasn't snow. It wasn't snow on Valentine's Day though.
was that? It wasn't, was it?
It might have been the next year you
Well, I
talking
don't know.
about.
This St. Louis is weird.
Yeah.
It's weird like
So
that.
I don't think that was the
So
same year. But yeah.
I don't know. They
And the
all.
crazy part is,
Yeah, this was back in 2012 when we
yeah,
first started
that's
dating.
for reference, yeah. But I
As
don't
well.
really remember no snow.
Mhm.
I remember for one I could tell you the dates. February 3rd.
I remember because I didn't have the right stuff in my car. Remember,
Mm-hmm.
and you cleaned my car off
Yeah.
with all that snow,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I had like a
Yeah,
towel in the
but it
back of
wasn't
the
no
in
heavy
the, in the
snow,
back of
though,
the car. Yes, it
because
was.
if
I
it
had
was,
that
it melted.
towel in the back of the. No, I'm talking about that night. I don't know about
okay.
the days after that, but you was cleaning my car off. You like get in the car. You could stay in the car and all that, and
Well, you
yeah.
making me sound.
Cleaned it off with.
Ooh-wee.
I know,
You know.
I mean,
Yeah.
we married now.
Yeah, you're right.
But
But so yeah, I'm sorry. The 3rd was the first was the Applebee's, February 3rd. I remember that. The 11th was your birthday, and then Valentine's Day, and this is all within a week. What was we
yeah,
on?
I
This is
don't know.
all within a
But
week.
let me tell you. So you said you kind of brought us into this now.
Mm-hmm.
So you said what was we on? It happened so quick. So the crazy thing is, I was 19
Mm-hmm.
until my birthday hit. Then I turned 20. But anyways,
Yeah.
I was 19 when I was like, believe it or not, y'all. When I was like 15 or 16, I straight prayed for my husband, and it was real specific. Now, I wasn't really on that as far as like wanting a husband, but I remember we was at a revival at my church, and the guest speaker that came, she was just talking about how, yeah, I pray for my husband, I pray for this and I pray for that, real specific, and we've been together, I think at the time she like 20 years or something. It was something like that. And so out of me basically trying to prove if God real or something, I was just like, let me see if it worked, So I prayed for my husband. I was very detailed in a lot of things. When I say very detailed, I was very detailed. So when I met Bruce Bay, it was some stuff that was very unique about him. And it was kind of like some answered prayers. And I think that's kind of what had already kind of reeled me in.
Mm-hmm.
just because these things were so specific that nobody else would have knew, you know. Yeah. So I think that it was just a feeling of knowing that it was more at that point. But what I want to ask you is, at what point did you realize that it was this was serious, this for real, this girl different, you know,
I
like
would say
that you got serious, like
that first date, and I think you told me that you spoke to your dad about me when after I paid for your food and stuff.
yeah, yeah,
And I talked to mine about you, you know, about the date. I can't remember when we went bowling and all that when you met the family for the first time, but I would say that first date for sure. Like I say, the laughter, the telling jokes. You was acting a little shy, but we both was a little shy, you know.
yeah.
This a stranger that we trying to get to know. That date,
But it was never
Applebee's.
given
When we go
shot
to
from you though.
Cybergs, was we already dating when we went to Cybergs with everybody?
We was still kind of, you
A
know, it
couple,
was after the first date for sure, but
like a couple weeks to a
obviously,
month
but
in.
yeah, but
So
we was kind of just still
yeah,
getting to know each other. But it
and
was
I'm
kind of
just
like
thinking of
he
moments.
already for me type of thing.
Yeah, I would say that first date, probably like you say that week. Once I got you something for Valentine's Day, I'm like, it reminds you we started talking on the third, or went on our first date on the
Wasn't even a
third.
whole month in,
Yeah,
like
and Valentine's Day was 9 days later, if my math right. And yeah, I got you a
yeah.
bird car. I went straight with the Target. You know, back then you go to Target,
What
you
I get
spend it
you?
on you plan on spending some money. I think you got a Reese's cup.
Because you told me that was your favorite candy,
Yeah.
so it was still thoughtful.
Yeah, it was.
And a card.
Yeah.
I didn't
It's
get much
crazy
because I
because
was like,
even
"What
back
do you
then
get a guy?" I
I
didn't know
didn't
nothing
plan
about
on receiving nothing. I wasn't tripping off.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
and I
remember
was so
because
I ate that Reese's so slow.
on Valentine's Day I went to Chili's with my friend. We did a lot of eating out, but went to Chili's with this same friend who kind of played that part and gave me my number. And afterwards we met you. You was like, no, you called me like where you at or whatever. You had just got off work and you had the stuff, and it was like, oh, that was so sweet.
You remember where we met?
Yeah, I remember.
Where we meet? It wasn't at
I
Chili's.
remember. I remember.
Which Chili's? It was Chili's off.
Hart's Ferry,
Okay,
yeah.
so where we meet?
We met. What's that called right there where the license office is? I don't know where
Oh,
we
okay.
met, man.
Ooh, okay.
I
Yeah, it
remember.
was
I'm
right
telling you,
there.
I be remembering
House
stuff.
Ferry in West Florissant.
Yeah,
I
yeah, but
think
you ain't
Big
got to
Amy.
say all that.
Okay, well, you know.
What if we wanted to write a book about it or
No,
something? You know,
I'm
leave it to
talking too
imagination.
much. My fault.
No,
My
I'm
fault.
joking. But yeah, for me, I would say I kind of just already had the feeling of knowing, but the more I saw those specific details come out, like I'm gonna just tell y'all one. Like it was one, as far as like, oh, I wanted a man that was like my father as far as his work ethic. My dad always, you know, provided. Like he was always working for us and stuff like that. So I knew I wanted a man who worked. Now, me praying for that, I also didn't know that it meant like, oh, he gonna work like for real. So yeah, but that was one of them things that like as time progressed, I began to see every little detail, and it was just like, dang, God, you answered this, and this. So yeah, but let's see, what else?
What's next?
What's next? What's next?
Years
So
of
yeah, do you? Oh, I wanted to ask you this. So do you remember we was talking about? This was the first time I asked you, like, do you believe in God and do you go to church and all this stuff? Do you remember how you responded? I remember. So you said, I mean, I believe in God, but it's kind of, I mean, I was going to church and stuff, but it was kind of like I believed in God because that's my family went and stuff.
because that's what I was taught.
But it was so out of that, it was just like, oh, he don't really believe, you know, on my end. So I'm like, I started
CP.
inviting you to church.
What they call it? Not CP, PC. Is that what it is? Preacher shit? What they call
PK.
it? PK. What I say? P. Lord Jesus. You know I ain't
You
no
tripping?
PK.
You nervous?
Yeah, I'm nervous. But yeah, PK. So yeah, you was on fire. But go ahead.
I was, but I was so
But I'm
lukewarm
saying
looking
that,
back
but we
at it
kind of was
now.
in the same boat
Yeah.
because just think about it. My response to that was that, yeah, that's what I was taught. Cause I didn't
Yeah.
have,
That's where
cause I
you
didn't have my own understanding,
Yeah.
or I
Yeah.
wasn't seeking in myself. And it was the same for you because you were a preacher's kid. So that's what you were
But
taught.
not really though.
But listen to me, you
Go
were
ahead.
taught to get up. Let's go to church. We got to get to church because daddy has to preach. This is daddy's assignment.
Right?
This not what Jamila was assigned or called to do at the moment of time. You were taken to this place, same as I was. Only difference is your daddy in the pulpit. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And not saying that you didn't get to know him maybe earlier than I did, but and especially around that time, you was in almost 20. So yeah, your relationship may have been different, but starting off, you weren't opening the Bible and seeking God. Not as long as you've been alive,
Not
your
the way
daddy.
I do
That's what
now.
I'm saying. As long
Not
as you've been
diligently.
alive, your daddy been a preacher. So I'm
Yeah.
saying it started off the same way, I guess. But at that point in your life, you were older. It was different. You probably was still going to church consistently with your parents. I went to church with my stepmama, and when I left her church, I was going on my own, but I was, see what I'm saying, going if I didn't have to work, I was going when it was convenient. So
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
different.
Well, I kind of get what you're saying, but it's just a little different. So you basically saying like on the scale of like it being checked off a list of this what I gotta do. But what
Yeah.
I'm saying with you is like I looked at it as like, oh, okay, he go to church because he gotta check it off the list, but he don't have a relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
Like when you said that to me, what I heard at the time was, I mean, I believe in, because you said this actually. You said, I believe in a higher power. So to me, that's
I
like
said that.
you
Oh
said that to me.
Lord, go
So it
ahead.
was I believe in, a higher power, a most
Yeah.
high God. But that's like when people say, oh, I believe in God, but who's to say Jesus is him
Right.
too,
Nah, I
and stuff
definitely
like
ain't
that.
mean that.
I know, but that's
No,
what
I
I
got
heard,
you. Yeah.
from what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And in a sense, it's kind of like, yeah, because you don't really know the details of it,
Yeah.
So that was like my mission, like, oh God, this really,
Yeah. I
wait a
gotta get
minute.
them together.
I gotta get him married, whatever.
Yeah.
So I started inviting him to church, everything. Like started inviting him to church. We started going, they had marriage class. What was that class called? It was a marriage class at our church at the time. And it wasn't just for married people. They just, taught about marriage stuff or whatever. But I invited them there and we started going there. And this kind of leads to the first portion of when God started convicting me.
Mm.
When God started convicting, well, I'll say us.
Mm-hmm.
When God started convicting us, after we was going to church and all of that, and being transparent, we know here we're gonna be transparent. We were fornicating, and yeah, we know that feels good to the flesh.
Yeah.
And this was the first time, like, I remember after going to them marriage classes and all of that stuff, it had been a minute. God was kind of like, he kept on like nudging me about it, like, oh yeah, you gotta stop, you gotta stop. And I felt like, well, God, this my husband anyway. At that point, I knew you was my husband. Like, it wasn't no question about it. I already knew. Like I said, just because of the things I prayed about and stuff, I knew you was my husband. So, like I said, I was trying to, here I go again, trying to bargain with God.
Yeah.
Like, oh well, if he my husband anyway, then
Yeah. That don't even sound
you know
right.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's how it was
Yeah.
though. I just felt like, man, well, he my husband anyway. But then he kept on kept convicting me about it. Kept convicting me about it. And I remember one day in particular, you was at our house, and you was in my little cousin brother room, whatever. He my little cousin, but he my brother. You was in his room, laying down. I think did you have to go to work or something, or was you just getting off work? I just remember you was in there, and I was in the kitchen with my sister, and I was talking to her about it, and I was telling her like, man, I think God is convicting me about this. She like, well, if God is convicting you about it, you got to stop. And I'm like, yeah, but what if I go in there and tell him, and then he, be like, this ain't for me and want to leave or whatever, I was scared to lose you in that. And she was like, yeah,
Yeah.
but you just gotta trust God with that. And thinking back now, like I didn't even really grasp hold of what she said right there, because that's big.
Yeah.
She like, even if that person leave you, if God told you to do it, you still gotta hold on to what he said and trust him enough. You know what I'm saying? You gotta love him more than that man.
And then also
That's
remember, if
tough.
God told you I'm your husband, you should have the faith that whatever you bring to me, we gonna work through it. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I wasn't there yet.
Yeah, I know.
I wasn't there
I know.
yet. And like I said, I was so blinded by, you know what I'm saying? And that's, just getting in now. That's how our flesh will do us.
Yeah.
Make us blind to what's really like. Come on now, it kind of makes sense if God already said it's your husband and all this stuff. Trust that it's gonna work out in His plan. But your flesh tried to trick you, into thinking like, yeah, no, I want him, and he gonna leave me because of this. So, anyways, y'all, I went into the room after talking to my sister, and I'm like, can you sit up and all that? Like, I need to talk to you. I was so dramatic. It was real dramatic. I'm like, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, you all right, don't get mad. Go on. Dragged it out and everything. And I told him, like, hey, look, God is convicting me of this, and we're not supposed to be having sex. He convicted me about it. And when I told him that, he was just like, I feel like God been convicting me too. And that right there really kind of put the icing on it. It put the icing on the cake for me that, dang, this really is my husband. And the fact that from that moment on, we would face so many other obstacles and temptations together, but get over them, together in our walk period and growing closer with God. What was your perspective there? I never asked you that.
On that
Like
particular,
that day, like what was your
girl,
what did you think I was about to say? Like
that was over 10 years ago. So
I just kind of want you to go back to that moment and what you was feeling, what you was thinking.
Honestly, I don't know. For one, you probably was a little dramatic when you came in there and said, I need you to sit up. Can I tell you something? Stuff like that.
I was nervous.
Stuff like that be making my heart drop. Like when you say,
I know now.
Babe, don't make me, don't get mad or stuff like that. I'm like, I'd rather you just say it. Punch me and not saying you're going to punch me, but I'd rather,
It's funny you say that now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But I really don't know what I was feeling, but I probably felt like, oh, what I did, what we done did. I don't even think we was at the point. We may have been, because we probably was a couple months in at that point, where we done had some arguments.
We was like a year in.
Yeah, we was?
We was about a year in.
Gotcha.
We was about a year in, because just think, we was.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we was about a year in.
So probably, I don't know, but I'm glad what you said is how we were feeling mutually.
Yeah. And it just shows, God's hand in it. If His hand is on it, like, we just gotta trust Him to work out all the kinks and everything. Especially if it is meant. Like, just think, that's one of the things we pray for. God, your will be done. You know what I'm saying? So if we allow fear to dictate what's supposed to be His will, you know what I'm saying? We are out of line.
Yeah.
That means we not really who we say we are. So that was at that point in my life, it was that was a test for me to see, like, all right, do I really love God more? Because we can become so infatuated with what's in front of us to where we will lose.
You get blindsided, like you said.
Yeah,
man,
we will lose what we were really supposed to be doing in Christ.
And it can be the I ain't gonna say small things, but it could be things, man, like money or blindside you or shift you away from a gift or talent or something God has placed on you. For example, it's people that God have given careers to or businesses to, and God gave you this thing, or you may have asked God for this thing, but now you may have changed. I don't want to say the audience of it, but you may have, for example, God gave you this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
God gave you this podcast. You know that God gave you this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You ask God for whatever, um, whatever, because you was going through some things with the makeup situation, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. So your conversation with God is pretty much whatever you have for me, let it be done. My hands are up and I'm willing to do whatever it is that you want me to do, whatever it is you need me to do. And God gave you this thing. Now God gave you this thing. You shifted. You start talking about Cardi B, and not just saying Cardi B, but you get where I'm going. Where
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's different from how God gave it to
Yeah,
you.
yeah. You try to put your own
You try to
twist
put
on
your
it.
own twist on it, your own
Yeah.
flavor on it, and your flesh on it, and
Mm-hmm.
now
Your
it's
flesh.
tainted. See what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
and that's why I say with the money, and with a lot of other things, it blinds us, man.
And it's funny you said that. I'm glad you said that because that's basically what was happening. Like I said, I was trying to bargain with God. I'm like, well, God, I know this my husband. You say this my husband, then if he my husband anyway, I can go ahead and do this. That mean I ain't gonna be out of line. I'm trying to justify myself in the situation when the word justify itself. You know what I'm saying? Like I was trying to I was really trying to bargain with God. Like imagine man, it's funny now from a parent perspective, just imagining God in that position, like how Josiah be trying to bargain with us. It's just so funny, man. It's so funny because I was really feeling like, well, I'm gonna marry him anyway. And the thing is, God let me know that that's why we were delayed in actual marriage, because I moved, and I'm just telling you how he dealt with me, because I was moving in such a way where I felt like, well, you said it's for me. I wanted to eat from it prematurely before he really had it for me.
Before it was
Before
right.
he had it right. I'm glad you used that word. Before it was actually ripe. Just because you can see it does not mean that it's ripe. Man. So that's what I was going through, man. It was just like, because I remember asking you, I don't know at what point in our relationship when I asked you about like when we gonna get married. Mind y'all, we was so young, but because I knew that he was my
I can
husband.
remember you asked me on April 27, 2013. Now I'm just playing.
Oh, I was about to
Nah.
say like what?
It was early though. It wasn't.
No, it wasn't that early.
I ain't know.
You
When I said
bugging. It was probably like 3
2013,
years.
we started talking at 12. So within that's
No,
a
it
year
couldn't
and a
have been 3 years
half.
because when we get engaged? 3.5 years.
2024.
No.
I mean, Jesus
Tripping.
Christ, 15.
We got engaged in, of course, Christmas of 2015.
Christmas.
So that's what, 3.5 years?
It came up in
3 years.
2013 somewhere. If we started talking at
No,
12,
it's
you said
2014
something.
because my brother got married in 2013. It definitely had to be 14.
You probably might have been
You
2 weeks
always
after
want
your
to
brother got married.
exaggerate
I
it,
don't know.
man. You
But if
always
you
want to
went to a
exaggerate it.
wedding and you about asked the week after
You
Teddy got
finna do
wedded.
that.
Yeah.
You finna act
Are we
like I
supposed- are
really
we
went
allowed to say
to weddings
names?
and came. You finna act like I went to weddings and then came home and said, "Hey, will you marry me?"
No, I
You
said
know
a
that
week.
ain't
I didn't
true.
say right away. I said like a week. I still, for one, I had to calm down from Teddy wedding anyway.
I want you to take your feelings out of it and say what's really true and stop the exaggerating.
I don't know though. That's the thing. I really don't
So
know.
it was probably like 2014. Either way, it was still kind of early. But the thing is, it wasn't
was
because at that point you also had expressed that you knew you were going to marry me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like I knew you was my husband, and it was one of them things. And then just think,
and I knew you
the
was
flesh,
my wife.
the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So we trying to live out this thing God is calling us from.
Yeah.
You
And you gotta
we trying to
realize, too,
put that stuff away. So it's all right, let's get married, cause
yeah, and yeah, I get from your perspective. I get you gotta realize too. I was a young man, and I'm still kind of like this today. But I was a young man, a workaholic, and still trying to figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, for example, I know somebody that always say they can't have kids um until they get established.
Yeah.
And I tell them now, from my perspective of having a kid, having a wife, man, you don't have to wait on all that stuff. You're about to get married. And I told them, you're about to get married, and within a couple months, or I give y'all a year, y'all gonna have a kid. I said kids are a blessing, but I said that from the perspective of he's younger than me. Not too
Mm-hmm.
much younger, but he's still younger. So he ain't went through marriage and been in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship as long as we been. I think right now he's been in a relationship as long as we were at that moment in time. So I was still a young man trying to figure it out. Marriage was on the list, but it wasn't next on my list, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. So, and not saying I crossed off things before I got to that point, but I had to feel comfortable within myself and within my spirit to be like, okay. And I don't know what got me to that point because we went and looked at rings and stuff, and
We got sized. Yeah, I
yeah, we got
remember we
size
went
and all
and
that
got
stuff,
sized
and
for rings.
um, I didn't particularly. I think you pick one that you like, but I get it right then and there. If
Yeah, because you made it like we was just getting sized for rings for
yeah,
whenever it does happen,
whenever it
and
does happen,
and
right?
that it
And
would
that's what
be
I'm
nice
saying. It
to
was on my
know
list.
our ring sizes
Yeah,
and
it
stuff
was on
like
my
that.
list, but it wasn't. Oh yeah, I'm just about to jump into this thing because for me, marriage wasn't something that you just
I'm
jump
gonna tell
into.
you, you were stuck on oh no, I gotta make sure I have this. I gotta be financially stable. We hear that a lot, all this stuff. And don't get me wrong, I
Mm-hmm.
do respect it. I respect that. The wanting of making sure you're financially set and all of that.
Yeah.
Um, but I think I was on the other end of like we both working, we gonna be good. Like,
Yeah.
it was just, and like I
And I
said,
guess
the my flesh was eating at me too though.
yeah.
My flesh was
Mm-hmm.
definitely eating at me. But either way, I knew that this was God ordained, and yeah, where are we going from here?
Yeah. But let me say this, and this is
Go ahead.
another reason why I think I was the way I was because I said a young man, but as a man in general, when I think of things or how I was taught or raised, when I think of marriage, relationships, whatever it was, just think at that moment in time, like you say, we was eating out. So when when we was eating out, I was paying for two. And that's partially because we was just in a relationship. We ain't together all the time. So it may be times I go to eat, get something to eat, and you ain't with me or whatever it is, clothes, whatever we do. But now I'm thinking in marriage, just how my brain thought,
Yeah, yeah,
it's double, everything double. See what I'm saying?
yeah,
So, and not saying I was ever gonna get to that point where financially I was gonna be there, but it's just that's how my mind thought. And then on top of
yeah.
that, get the ring. Okay, y'all got the ring. Then we had got to go through the whole marriage. I mean the wedding and all that stuff. So yeah,
And I wasn't even thinking about all that.
yeah,
I wasn't even
it's
thinking
a
about
lot.
the wedding and all of that stuff until it
And then I
happened.
knew we wasn't gonna have
So,
we wasn't going to no courthouse.
eh, I mean, I wasn't thinking about a courthouse, but I wasn't thinking like, oh, this big extravagant thing either.
Yeah,
I really was just thinking like, we just need to be married.
yeah,
At that point, mind you, I was just thinking like, oh, okay, I'm in love with this man. I just want to be with him. That's
mhm. Yeah,
in
gotcha.
that aspect of it.
Hmm.
And like I said, also I know my flesh was eating at me too.
Yeah.
So that was one of those things. Once we got married, oh, so let's talk about the faith side of it. Remember when I lost my job?
After we was married.
We had got married. But no, were we married yet or we were about to get married?
I think we was newly married.
Yeah, we were. We were newly married. We were about to move into a house.
Yeah.
We were about to move into a house.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. That's
Man.
good, man. So, yeah, look, I was at the time working from home. I was very immature. I was not ready to be working from no home because baby, when I tell you if I had to clock in at 7, I was sleeping until 6:50. It was just that's just what it
5.
was. Maybe
I'm sitting there
6:55.
one day at
And
home, like, how the heck is you late for work and your office is across the hallway? I'm saying, like, I
I
couldn't
would be
think.
late constantly working from home. I I don't know what that was.
I
I
don't
don't know what
care.
I was going through, y'all.
I used
Like
to be hot.
I know.
I used to be 38 hot. Used
But
to
let me
hop
tell
out
y'all,
that
my faith
bed.
was A1 though. But I was sick of working there too though. I was. And I knew that I knew it was about to be over though. I knew I was about to get fired. So anyways, I got fired. And working from home, I got fired, y'all, because I wanted to sleep in too much and not clock in. But yeah, so when I told him, he like, oh man, my job, we looking at houses actively, about to move and all of this. So we already made it clear, like, oh, we gonna move into a house, not an apartment, not all of this. We had it set, laid out. The plan was laid. And when I told him that, instantly he started looking. He instantly started looking at apartments, and I remember saying like, "Why you looking at apartments?"
Man, apartment.com, straight to it.
And he like, because this, and you
Like,
know,
we
the
let the rain
finances, the
come.
house gonna be this and all of that. And I just remember saying like, look, I lost a job, but I'm telling you, I'm gonna have a job better. I'm gonna have a job that's actually gonna be paying more and all this. And mind you, he not really so my income wasn't really based on like the house part of it. But of course, like maybe helping with the bills and all of that stuff. And just if something were to go wrong, like literally to be the help
Yeah.
me. So um yeah. He was just like, yeah, nah. I don't see it happening on one income. He treated this like like this was the end of the world or
Man,
something. Like I got
because
fired and I could never get another job or something.
you had to think
And
of
I
it
was
from
just
my
like,
side, though, man.
wait, no. I'm
Go
like,
ahead.
so I'm like, don't stop. Don't start looking at apartment. We already said. I'm basically like, stick to the plan. Either way, and from his perspective, he like, what you mean stick to the plan? You ain't stick to the plan. So it was funny, but I'm just like, look, I told him straight out. I'm like, I'm gonna get a job that's gonna be paying more. And these things, it was a few things that I just kind of was like, God gonna do this, and this, and
Yeah, it
watch,
sound
you know.
good. It
And he
sounded good
like,
at the time.
yeah. So he wasn't fully in it. He was not saying it, y'all. Like he was all in his head about it. He wasn't in God about it at all.
Man, I was 26 years old, newly married, and you got to realize what the whole process was, and it was my fault. Like I said, I was in my flesh, I was in myself, but the whole process was, I'm gonna go back just a little bit. We had our own apartments,
Yeah, we
in
did.
our
We did.
early 20s. And then you moved in with your parents when they moved into a bigger house.
Mm-hmm.
I still had my apartment. Before we got married, we had a conversation like, "Hey, I can renew my lease. You can, and you come." Well, I didn't even ask. "Hey, I'm gonna renew my lease here. You come live with me." Blah blah blah. Or we gonna be living together. I ain't gonna say you come live with me, but you get what I'm saying because I had my apartment.
Yeah.
And you was like, okay, I think we talked about it. And then you came back, was like, well, my parents got this house. It was like 4 bedrooms. The rent was like $1,000. You was like,
It
and
was
they
like
still got,
1,500.
huh?
I think it was like
No, it
fifteen
was a
hundred or
thousand because
something.
we split in 4 ways.
What?
It was
Oh,
a
okay.
$1,000. For sure it was 1,000 because if not, somebody was playing a bigger push. But it was a
Oh,
thousand.
I don't know.
You just think this
Okay,
2012,
okay. Yeah.
2013.
You're right.
No, this
No, you tripping.
2014.
We
2000.
got married in 2016, so it was
I'm
2016.
tripping. We moved into our apartments in 2014. This
Mm-hmm.
2016. You're right. But what was I saying? So you were like, well, if you come move with us, we could split the rent 4 ways. They at least not up for a year,
It was
And
like 9 months left on the lease.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
a short time. And I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
man, that type of thing, man. I ain't doing that. Nah,
I'm
I'm
like, we
cool.
had a whole
I had
upstairs.
just moved out of my parents' house a couple years back. I'm not moving in with nobody else unless I have to. And that's me being in myself, being in my flesh,
Yeah.
and not really thinking until I sat down. Like, man, I'm paying $700 plus all these utilities by myself. I can go here and pay $500 less,
Mm-hmm.
practically,
For 9 months, stack
but
up, and
still
yeah.
thinking in my head as a future husband, even if it's 500, I'm still paying less, which
Mm-hmm.
my portion 250, I mean 225, 225. So I'm like, yeah, we end up doing that. So we had the upstairs. Your parents pretty much had the downstairs, and we had dang near 3 bedrooms upstairs to ourselves.
Yeah.
Your office for the
Well, it
time
was a
you had a
bedroom
job,
in the office
yeah.
in there. Yeah.
Um, which was my bedroom when I first moved in because we wasn't
Mm-hmm.
married. I think I moved in like a month and a half before we got our lease was up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. So that year is up. We go into the process looking for houses. You lose your job. I'm freaking out.
Freaking
Freaking
out,
out.
y'all.
And I remember one particular thing, and I've come to notice about you. And I don't know if you noticed it at that time, but we laugh about it now. Um, your what's the word I want to use? Your patience in it, but I think it was more so your faith in it.
Yeah.
And when I say that
Absolutely.
is, it was like yin and yang. Man, I was freaking out. I want not necessarily
It
freaking out,
was.
but I was stressing.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, man, what the heck I'm gonna do? Blah blah blah. Looking on apartment.com instead of Indeed or not Indeed, whatever the, you know,
Zillow, hot
Zillow.
tub.
Yeah, I was on Zillow looking at houses. Then you lost that job.
You went
Apartment.com, nothing
off
else
quick.
on my. But it almost oh me. But so yeah, I was losing my mind, man. God still made a way. You were patient through the situation because you knew that God had something for us. And the crazy thing, the blessing behind it all was, I think we had pinned it down to like 5 houses from anywhere from, at that time, rent was a little cheaper. So we were looking for 3 bedrooms, 1 to 2 baths. If it had a basement, great. If not, depending on the
Mm-hmm.
price, we'll go for it. We found a 3 bedroom,
Mm-hmm.
1 bath, but it was newly furnished and stuff like that as far as the kitchen
Remodeled and stuff.
remodeled,
Yeah.
uh, fully furnished basement, finished basement. And it was a beautiful house in Spanish Lake on the street where it
You
was on the street. What, you don't
you
want me to
ain't gotta
say?
say all that.
Well,
We just found a good house. It was a really good house. It was the best house. They ain't got no audit. Where it was at,
but
stuff
we
like
found
that.
a beautiful house on a beautiful street, with a community that had been there for a long time. And the
Yeah,
blessing
we had
behind
like a
it,
lot of older people on the.
yeah.
And the crazy thing is
The
the
blessing
the
behind it was I don't know if we about to say the same thing, but out of all the houses or the top 5 we found, this is one of the last ones I found. And the blessing was that it was the cheapest, and it was the most beautiful house out of all of them.
yeah,
And when I say cheapest, it was
and it was
$825
a
and all
private
that stuff.
owner.
Private
Private
owner,
owner, and when we were going to look at the house, because we was
hmm
just riding
yeah,
past, we wasn't supposed to go
yeah,
in there and meet them.
hmm
It just so happened that they were
they
there
were there
doing an open.
working,
They were doing an open house.
yeah.
They were doing an open house,
hmm
and we didn't know. We were just riding past, so
I
we
think we
kind
may
of
have
just.
missed it because it was short open house when we went in. The husband
Yeah,
was
that was.
working.
Yeah,
He
they
was
were.
working.
They was cleaning and stuff, but we went in like, oh, okay, and we got to talk to them for a little bit, and they were married and kind of young at the time. They had what, 3 kids or 2? They had 3 at the time.
They
They
had
got
3
4
at the
now, but
time. Yeah.
they had 3 at the time, and we talked. I remember talking to them. We were talking good for a nice little minute, and they were
hmm
Christian.
hmm
Like that was kind of like, oh man. So I remember after that we put the application in right then and there,
hmm
and I was talking back and forth to the wife, which, like I said, they both are owners, and she was just like, I gotta go with my gut, and my gut is telling me y'all, because it ended up being between us and another
Single
lady who
mom.
was a single mom. So
hmm
she was like, it's either me give it to the single mom or I'm gonna give it to y'all. And at the time we didn't have any kids. So that's what we was up against. And yeah, she was just like, I gotta go with my gut. My gut is telling me to give it to y'all and drive it to y'all. And she boasts about the fact that we were always on time and actually always paid ahead of time. Just saying this because of what happened before. So in the nick of time before we moved into the apartment, God moved. I got a better job with more pay. And yeah, I knew it was gonna happen. It was definitely my faith in it. It was definitely faith. It wasn't so much patience. It was faith. Faith definitely was the key that unlocked the door. Okay, y'all. So this is actually going to be broken into parts. So yeah, we've come to the end of this episode. Thanks for joining Purposely Cross this week, and make sure that you join in next week for part 2. Hey y'all, just wanted to take a quick moment to say thanks for tuning in to Purposely Cross Podcast. We're all about diving into conversations that matter, and we're so glad that you're here for it. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. We'd love to have you along for the ride. And don't forget to follow us on all social media for all the latest updates, sneak peeks, and more. Let's stay connected and purposefully cross paths. Hit that subscribe button and let's keep the conversations going.